Bittorrent value equivalent to $0.141 a coin. The present exchanged cost range and 138 is in 146. The earlier day close fastened in 144. The change was 0.328%. Backwards rate US to BTT. Bittorrent conjecture for July 2024. Before all else cost at $0.198. Excessive cost down in 246, while low costs passion in 198. They arrived at the midpoint of costs in 218. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends BSP to it. Change for July 16.2%. Bittorrent cost expectation for August 2024. Before all else cost at $0.2. Excessive cost in 2 while low costs at 179. They arrived at the midpoint of cost plans in 28. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends imagined in 193. Change for August 16.1%. Bittorrent conjecture for September 2024. At the outset cost at $0.193. Excessive costs point on 240, while low cost in 193. They arrived at the midpoint of costs in 213. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends buys in 224. Change for September 16.1%. Bittorrent cost expectation for October 2024. At the outset cost at $0.224. Excessive costs point down 241, while low costs soon 29. They arrived at the midpoint of costs at 225. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's ends of 225. Change for October's on 4%. Bittorrent figure for November 2024. Initially cost at $0.225. Excessive costs rise at 279, while low cost in 225. They arrived at the midpoint of costs down 248. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's end buys 261. Change for November 16%. Bittorrent cost expectation for December 2024. Initially cost at $0.261. Excessive costs down 284, while low costs in 246. They arrived at the midpoint of costs in 264. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends in 265. Change for December 15%. Bittorrent conjecture for January 2025. Before all else cost at $0.265. Excessive costs in 291, while low costs is 253. They arrived at the midpoint of cost of Python 270. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends USN 272. Change for January 26%. Bittorrent cost expectation for February 2025. Initially cost at $0.272. Excessive costs here in 294, while low costs per 256. They arrived at the midpoint of cost in 274. Bittorrent cost estimate toward the month's ends Python 275. Change for February 1%. Bittorrent estimate for Walk 2025. First and foremost cost at $0.275. Exorbitant costs 236, while low costs are at 266. They found the middle value of cost 1023. Bittorrent cost estimate toward the month's ends as 6. Change for spring 40%. Bittorrent cost expectation for April 2025. First and foremost cost at $0.6. Exorbitant costs Susan in 314, while low costs was in 272. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 90 and 291. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends Bars 9293. Change for April 24%. Bittorrent conjecture for May 2025. Initially cost at $0.293. Excessive costs massed in 323, while low costs soon 281. They arrived at the midpoint of costs mass 3. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's ends May 32. Change for May 1%. Bittorrent cost expectation for June 2025. First and foremost cost at $0.32. Exorbitant costs BSN 334, while low costs 290. They found the middle value of costs in 310. Bittorrent cost estimate toward the month's ends in 312. Change for June 3%. Bittorrent estimate for July 2025. First and foremost cost at $0.312. Exorbitant costs 338, while low costs 294. They found the middle value of cost and Mosin 315. Bittorrent cost estimate toward the month's ends in 316. Change for July 13%. Bittorrent cost expectation for August 2025. First and foremost cost at $0.316. Exorbitant costs $1.393, while low costs $3.316. The found the middle value of cost on $348. Bittorrent cost estimate toward the month's end $367, change for August 16 1%. Bittorrent conjecture for September 2025, before all else cost at $367. Excessive costs $367, while low costs $298. The found the middle value of cost above $338. Bittorrent cost gauge toward the month's ends pairs mid detail, change for September 12 8%. Bittorrent cost expectation for October 2025. Initially cost at $0.32. Excessive cost $23, while low costs $258. The arrived at the midpoint of costs $294. Bittorrent cost estimate toward the month's end $277, change for October 13 4%. Bittorrent estimate for November 2025. First and foremost cost at $0.277. Exorbitant costs $311, while low costs $271. The found the middle value of cost and tapped into a Tate. Bittorrent cost estimate toward the month's ends $291, change for November 5 1%. Bittorrent cost expectation for December 2025. First and foremost cost at $0.291. Exorbitant costs $0.291, while low costs $240. The arrived at the midpoint of cost $270. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends $258, change for December 11 3%. Bittorrent conjecture for January 2026, before all else cost at $0.258. Excessive costs spent on $258, while low costs for $216. The arrived at the midpoint of cost and $241. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's end $232, change for January 10 1%. Bittorrent cost expectation for February 2026, before all else cost at $0.9232. Excessive cost to bufine $28, while low cost $232. The arrived at the midpoint of cost and $255. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's end $269, change for February 15 9%. Bittorrent conjecture for Walk 2026. At the outset cost at $0.269. Excessive costs $269, while low costs $210. The arrived at the midpoint of costs $244. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends $226, change for spring 16%. As to BTT expectation for April 2024. Initially cost at 630.2911.39 coins. Excessive cost 820.64 and 46.28.